Disney World is known as the happiest place on earth. It is home to characters from your favorite childhood movies, exciting rides and activities, and a magical atmosphere that makes you feel like you've been transported to an enchanted universe. It's a great place for making memories with your family and friends. But it can also be traumatizing and creepy. Is this really the happiest place on earth, or something entirely different? These are the strangest incidents that took place at Disney theme parks. Have you ever wondered what happens when Disney parks close? Do all the employees take turns going on all the rides? Do all the attractions come to life? Well, not exactly. What really happens is that they release the cats. I know you're wondering, what the heck am I talking about? Well, a Disney World employee once revealed that they release feral cats at night after the parks close to get rid of the rats in the park. At the end of the night, it is believed that they gather up all the cats and keep them in the underground offices and pathways that the employees use to get around the park easily. So, while you're casually walking around the park during the daytime, there are cats just below your feet waiting to come out and play. That's sorta creepy, if you ask me. Have you ever been walking through a Disney theme park just minding your own business when you bump into a random person? Well, this random person could actually be a security guard. Yes, Disneyland is filled with undercover security guards that dress up as tourists and wear regular clothes so they blend in with all the other park visitors. You'd never know. It has even been reported that security is always watching you. There is pretty much no corner of the park you can go to without someone from security seeing you, which just goes to show they're everywhere. So, be careful what you do when you're at a Disney theme park, because there's nowhere to hide. And remember, you might not see them, but they can see you. This next guy clearly forgot he was at a children's theme park and had way too many drinks at Epcot's World Showcase. He decided to go backstage, which of course is only meant for park employees. In his drunken state, he thought it would be a good idea to steal one of the cargo work carts, and he was not about to let anyone get in the way of his goal. He punched one employee who tried to stop him from entering the backstage area. He punched another employee who tried to stop him from taking the cart. Then he hit another employee in the face with a PVC pipe. How embarrassing. So, if you ever decide to do some excessive day drinking at a theme park, just remember, it's a terrible idea. The wait time for some rides can be ridiculously long, but groups of people join them and wait anyway. One guy decided that he would join the line for the Avatar Flight of Passage ride with a full bladder. This wasn't the smartest idea, as this ride is infamous for having 2-hour wait times, and I don't know about you, but I definitely can't hold my pee for 2 hours. And clearly neither could this guy. Yes, this guy just stood there and urinated while he was in the line. The worst part is that the woman standing in front of him actually knew he was peeing because she felt something wet on the back of her leg. The park employees gave the woman a change of clothes, and the man was banned from the park for the rest of the day. On the bright side, he wasn't banned from the park permanently, and they finally set up bathrooms for people waiting in line for rides. Took you long enough, Disney World. If you're underwhelmed by some of the rides at Disneyland because they're not scary enough, you can always visit this next attraction. Apparently, there might be remains of actual human skeletons in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland. When they first built the attraction, they didn't think that the bones looked real enough, so they asked the UCLA Medical Center to borrow some real bones. Since then, most of them have been replaced with fakes, but you never know how many real bones are still sitting in there. So, is the ride scary enough for you now? You know those rides at Disney World that shoot out fire? Well, that was the case for this incident, except it wasn't a ride. It was the monorail transportation system. And the fire wasn't part of the attraction. It was actual fire. In 1985, one of the tires on a monorail car went flat, and the friction against the train tracks sparked a fire. The monorail track is 30 feet up in the air, so most people weren't willing to jump. Passengers decided to climb on top of the cars to avoid smoke inhalation and possibly burning to death. The good news is that the fire department eventually came to rescue the passengers, and there were no serious injuries or deaths. Sadly, this was not the case in 2009 when two monorails collided and injured the train operator. Come on, monorail, get it together. We understand that some people may have final wishes before they pass away. Some want to be buried in a particular spot or donate their bodies to science, while some want to be cremated and have their ashes scattered in a location of their choosing. Well, some family members have taken it upon themselves to scatter the ashes of their loved ones in Disney's Haunted Mansion ride. In fact, several guests have done this at the haunted mansions in both California's Disneyland and Florida's Disney World. And yes, I get that the spooky graveyard setting seems like the perfect place to scatter those ashes, but it's not worth it, and it's just plain weird. The park employees end up having to stop the whole ride, you'll get kicked out of the park, and your loved one's ashes will just get vacuumed up and tossed out with the trash. How awful! Although the Disney theme parks are built for kids and their families, some of the things that happen are not all that sweet and innocent. The sad reality is that several park employees have complained about being harassed by parkgoers. Even employees who are dressed in costumes and playing characters experience this too. No one is safe. In fact, one cast member who played Tinkerbell at Disney World said people kept asking her what was under her dress. Another cast member who played Minnie Mouse reported that she was groped and grabbed inappropriately by a park visitor. These incidents are more common than you think, and the worst part is that the employees are never allowed to break character. So park visitors can basically do anything they want to you, and you have to keep acting like a cheerful cartoon character the whole time. How terrifying! Several park employees have said that one of the worst things they have to do is stay in character at all times. In fact, the number one rule is that they are not allowed to take off their heads in public, as they could be immediately fired. So whether it's a really hot day, or the costume smells awful, or you're feeling sick, you cannot take it off. This was the case for one cast member who felt sick one day when he was playing the character Dumbo in a parade. He knew he needed to throw up, but he also knew that he couldn't take off the head to do it because he'd lose his job. So, he did the only thing he could do. He vomited inside the head. It was so bad that barf started pouring out of the little mesh-covered hole where Dumbo's mouth should be. He managed to make it through the parade without removing his head, but I don't even want to think about what it was like suffering through that barf stench inside a large elephant head. He claims that even if a character throws up or passes out on a float, nobody ever pulls them off the ride. You just have to keep waving and hope that the park visitors don't notice. Have you ever wanted to go on a ride so badly that you were willing to do anything to be able to ride? Well, this couple felt the same exact way. They tried to bring a large duffel bag onto a ride, but their plans quickly got ruined when their bags started making noise. The ride's cast members asked them to open the bag, but they refused. After lots of hassle and back and forth, security finally came and opened the bag. They found a 6-month-old baby inside. A similar situation also happened recently, where a woman was wearing a huge jacket and stuffed her kid inside in an attempt to make it look like she was pregnant. The ride's cast members told her that they do not recommend riding while pregnant, but she went on anyway. When she strapped on her seatbelt, her stomach started crying and screaming. Safe to say, she was escorted off the ride shortly after. These types of incidents are actually said to be very common. Next time, just find a babysitter. Do you have a story of a strange incident happening at a theme park? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, that can only mean one thing. You are seriously into some weird-ish. So go ahead and press that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more weird content just like this.